All right. Okay, enough. I get it. Good evening, everyone. So this morning, Pam Bondi was ousted as Attorney General and is no longer the head of the Department of Justice. Sources say Trump wants somebody tougher to execute his plans and everyone else. Oh, wow. But you know she's going to throw the book at him, and it'll be her book. Wow, they're still scared of her. After the historic launch of Artemis II, NASA says there was a malfunction with the zero-gravity toilet. They knew this after one astronaut reported, "Houston, we have a floater." New photos obtained by the Daily Mail show Kristi Noem's... Yeah. You can handle it. You can handle it. Anyway, these photos show Kristi Noem's husband wearing large prosthetic breasts. In response, one man immediately volunteered to check their authenticity. See what I did there? It's okay. A spokesman for Kristi Noem said she's devastated by her husband's cross-dressing double life. She also canceled their upcoming vacation to Dollywood. And adding insult to injury, after closer inspection of the husband's photos, they found 21 illegal aliens hiding in his cleavage. You okay now? All right. A female former NFL ref is suing the league for being fired because of her gender. However, many complain she kept penalizing players for things they did 4 games ago.
Am I the only one who got it?
I don't know, man. This audience. Loosen up, audience, huh?
I think they're angry because Piro's here a day early.
Yes.
I didn't come for this. It's Thursday.
On Tuesday, President Trump said he's cleaning up the filthy Lincoln Memorial pool and then blamed the mess on Joe Biden. In Biden's defense, he did call them Lincoln logs. Poop joke. Wednesday was National Walking Day, but celebrations were sparse given the high likelihood of being run down by Tiger Woods. Aww, American hero, a legend. And finally, in San Francisco Bay, a windsurfer crashed into a surfacing whale. You'll be hearing from my attorney, said the whale. Oh, unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thank you. All right. Thank you. It's time for...
We can't believe we're even debating this bullshit.
So the Supreme Court is debating the legality of birthright citizenship for kids of illegals. But if you spend just 1 minute in the world of common sense, does an illegal having a baby in your country make it a citizen? Are you nuts? If someone's cat gives birth to kittens on your lawn, it's not your responsibility to cook and eat them. Just because you're born here ain't enough. Citizenship also requires that you, the parent, to be a participant of the system. And if you're here illegally, then you aren't. And as the Prez points out, the Constitution wasn't even considering this crap. I mean, the reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves.
The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. People are making a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen of the United States of America. That's not what it was for.
Wow. He says it's the craziest thing he's ever seen. And this from a guy who saw Gary Busey up close. But hey, if Trump says the sky is blue, the left would say he's attacking the colorblind. Here's Justice Brown Jackson with an absurd analogy to support birthright for illegals.
If I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law? I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen. Doesn't that explain why both temporary residents and undocumented people would have that kind of quote-unquote allegiance just by virtue of being in the United States?
Oof. Man, I need a dumbass whisperer, because I really don't understand what she said. First, Justice Jackson, who knew a vacation crime spree was your kink? And what a way to play into the stereotype that black Supreme Court justices shoplift in Japan. I thought we were past that. But it's not her fault, it's ours, for expecting logic from someone who can't define a woman. But look, if I wanted to see a clueless broad stink up the court, I'd watch the WNBA.
Oh. That woman hates the WNBA.
Wow,
Most do.
passionate applause there. But it's funny. It's funny that she brings up other countries. They don't allow birthright because in most places, who even tries? There's not a buttload of couples from Brentwood trying to squirt out a rugrat in Bangladesh. Millions aren't rushing to Somalia so their baby can have a steady diet of water bugs and grow up to be a pirate. And you can forget about Japan, which has restrictive laws to keep the rest of the world out. They learned their lesson once with Godzilla. But this isn't a legal question. It's not even a question. It's a scam. Birthright babies are the hall pass for everything that their countries don't offer them while still being a citizen of their own. So our country is not a country to them, it's an insurance policy, and we're paying the premiums. Our founding fathers never intended America to be a paternity ward for Somali grifters. It was for enslaved children, not Chinese billionaires. Now, the term American is for anyone whose mom kept her ankles crossed until she crossed the border. And one party insisted on it. Dems learned that legal immigrants in time don't vote for Dems. So they flooded the electorate with people whose votes they can buy like street cart empanadas. And their go-to strategy, calling us racist for speaking the truth. So common sense was redefined to paint our side as intolerant. You want a secure border? Well, you're a bigot. So they pretend not to understand the problem. They believe that having friends over for dinner and a creep who breaks in to eat your food are the same thing. Now, it would be different if the supporters of birthright citizenship were patriots who demanded assimilation, but to them, America is inherently corrupt and assimilation isn't in the cards. So don't trust their argument. People like Ketanji don't live in the real world where reality speaks for itself and the incentives driving the behavior are clear as day. No, they live in a world where we must welcome the very people who think anything is better than America and anyone is better than you. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He looks like the lawyer you get off a billboard in Miami. Fox and Friends co-host Todd Pyro. Podcasting combines his true loves, comedy and sitting. Comedian Bobby Kelly. When she goes to the blood bank, she only gets withdrawals. New York Times best-selling author and Fox News contributor, Cat Tibbs. He's like a shopping mall escalator. Elderly women love going up and down on him. Former NWA World Champion, host of Planet Time Podcast, Cyrus.
Yes.
Todd, I keep forgetting, you are a lawyer.
Yes, sir. Technically.
So,
Why was that funny?
Because he keeps forgetting.
yeah, no, you don't, I mean, you definitely seem like a lawyer who can't practice law. What are we doing here?
It's a question, Greg, because if you listened to the arguments, or the questions, I should say, from both the liberal and conservative justices, there was one thread that stuck out to me, and they are worried about the practicality of what would happen if you ended birthright citizenship. Mm-hmm. That's concerning to me because practicality is something that, you know what, in other cases, when they want to rule a certain way, they punt practicality to Congress, to other individuals. So when they want to, they can rule on the law as is stated in the Constitution.
Right.
Unfortunately here, it doesn't seem they're going to. And what is that going to do? to your point in your monologue, it's going to dilute what it means to be an American when it comes to our customs, when it comes to our laws, when it comes to our way of life. And therein lies the concern.
There you go. Spoken like a true white man. Bobby, I love this new look. You're like a gay Greek hitman.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yes, exactly.
I love your transitions. Very close to Byron Allen's. Bobby, what?
Byron Allen. I love Byron Allen.
I know you do.
He's my favorite acceptable black man.
Wow.
Well,
Have you ever thought of having a kid in a foreign country so you could have citizenship?
Yeah, I just lost my Global 1 entry, so I'd love to have one in Aruba so I could fly by that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that in 2 seconds. I think I have. I think I've done it.
Yes.
I think there's some kid in Amsterdam. There's definitely one in Cuba. Brazil, there's probably 3. Yeah, this is nuts, though. This story she told, this is why she's not around friends. She's just around people. Because if I told this story at the cellar, halfway through, so if I got robbed in Japan, I'd hear, shut up, you're an idiot.
Yes.
You need people around you to go, shut your face. Someone actually told her, oh, this makes sense.
Yes.
You should actually bring that and tell that story. This sums it up.
There's nobody that would ever tell her that's a bad idea because she's like a black woman and, you know, and she's a black woman.
Why did you point to me?
I don't know.
But if I could follow up on this, I know I've used my allotted time, and Tyrus is going to
bore us some more with your legalese.
There is an issue there. I disagree with you. The liberal justices have accosted her in a legal sense on some of her nonsensicalness. Sotomayor and Kagan, and multiple times in multiple arguments, have been like, girl, what are you talking about? My issue with her is not that she's liberal. My issue with her is that
she's black.
thank you, Kat.
No, that's just
right?
Really? No, sister? Is that what we're doing?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Should I cross my legs? Is that a thing? I'm sorry.
From a
I
legal
didn't get the memo.
perspective, my issue with her is I don't know if she is suitable for the Supreme Court. And that's not something I'd say about Sotomayor or Kagan. They are experienced jurists. Ketanji Brown Jackson, I'm not so sure.
What say you, Kat? Well, that was an interesting comment.
So the debate, I guess, is between what I learned in school was that you can look at the Constitution as a justice 2 ways, as an originalist or as it's a living, breathing document. And they're looking at it as an originalist, but the issue is that they're known for looking at it the opposite way when it comes to other things. But when it comes to this, all of a sudden, they're viewing it just, oh, well, this is what the text says.
Right.
But I guess public opinion's kind of split on it depending on how you ask the question. Birthright citizenship, it's a little bit split. But when you talk about should a tourist be able to have a baby here and have the baby be a citizen, that's only like 25% of people say that that's cool. And I think it's like I have an analogy too. Can I do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it involve shoplifting?
No.
Okay.
It's actually
Chicks.
very related.
Only chicks shoplift. Isn't that weird? But go ahead.
So, but
Shut up.
In terms of how, going back to in terms of how you ask the question or what people are concerned about specifically, if you say like you have a party and somebody at the party gives birth at the party, I bet you'd be like, oh, like I'm gonna be bonded with this baby for life. But then if you found out this person came over to your party to have a baby on your carpet, you probably would be like, what the
Yes.
And then said, congratulations, you're a mom.
Yeah. And then it said, like, by the way, like you're responsible for the bill.
I think if they drop a baby off in the country, we get like part ownership of the child.
No, we tried that before, Greg. It didn't work out. I was not in favor.
I mean, no, like in terms of like they mow my lawns once.
You know
a
what?
week.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If in this day of mowing lawns, in this day and age where everything's a fight and a battle, can't we split the diff?
Yeah.
I'd much rather have to deal with an infant illegal alien than a grown-ass one. So let us lock up the border, and if you get through and you shoot them out, congratulations, you made it, kid. But it's a lot easier to manage an angry baby than the criminals that are just strolling in, military-age men that are in this country. So I think at some point we got to split the diff because we're not going to get any answers. If a judge is questioned makes everyone else question their ability to understand English, then we're probably not going to get a very good answer out of that. The president went and he saw enough and left for a reason. You don't walk out in the middle of something unless it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, so I really think that this is one of those things where it doesn't affect my life that much and most other people, but the people who are just strolling into this country, they're affecting everyone's lives. We've had terrorist attacks. How do you think they got in here? It's open borders. So if you give us the support to lock up our borders, get our TSA agents back working, get our country to where it needs to be. If there's one thing the Democrats wanted is if somebody wants to drop a baby on Kat's carpet at our house party and get citizenship, cool. I mean, at this point, we got to pick our battles, and I just don't think this is one we need to die on.
Yeah, I think in 2023, 320,000 babies born to illegals. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.